Well, here it is. We've got Memorial Day over, and thank goodness it was a beautiful, sunshiny day yesterday for all of those who've traveled miles from home to get back home to remember Memorial Day. They call it a celebration. I don't see anything there to be celebrated. I consider it a day of remembrance. I'm sitting here in my house coat. I thought I was going to get up this morning, get dressed, go do a little shopping, and Jan was going to be working in the antique shop today. I haven't been there in several weeks, so I said I'll be over to see what you've got new. And she says, it's pouring the rain. Oh, well, I hadn't even looked out. No, she's right, it was raining. I said, well, I can wait a day or two. So anyway, I thought I would give you a report on Memorial Day. You've already seen the video of my Barbara Walters report on the tornado in London, Kentucky. That was just by chance a situation I walked into, and it worked for me, and I got to video a few of the people you may call victims of the tornadoes. It was a very good interview, and you have to give those people credit. They're doing a fantastic job of taking care of their own town, their own homes. So I'm going to go past that. This is more Memorial Day, what it's all about. This is one I wrote a year ago. So I'm going to read it to you because it's easier. And if it might be kind of long, so if you want, just get you something to drink and lie back on the couch and listen to me talk. You don't even have to watch me. You just close your eyes and listen to this story and absorb everything I tell you. It goes like this. It was 82 years ago this June. I haven't forgotten, and I don't want anyone else to forget. June 17th, 1943, a B-17 bomber was in the process of making its flight down the runway at Ellison Air Force Base, Rapid City, South Dakota, when it crashed and 6 of 10 soldiers lost their lives. One of those soldiers was my brother. I was 7 years of age. Well, I can see. If you think a death of this nature has less effect on a child the age of 7, you're wrong. I remember, and I remember it well. Each year on Memorial Day, I try to emphasize the importance of remembering our fallen heroes. If you've lost a family member in this manner, I don't have to remind you. Rather than tell my story again, this year I decided to let you read a few letters. Yes, they are the same letters I bring out once a year and read again. I don't want to ever forget. These were simple greetings, in most cases notes to Mama, sometimes written on scraps of paper telling how safe he is, how glad he is that he joined the Army Air Corps, how stressful his drills and exams were. He was so proud to serve with such dedicated men. He knew Mama worried a lot, especially about his being well fed, getting enough to rest, the tiring drills, you know the routine. 3 good meals a day were on her priority list. She was very pleased the day she read the letter saying he was chosen to take his meals with the commanding officers in their private dining room. Think about that. Private in the Army Air Corps. Instead of rambling on, I am posting parts of a shoebox of letters. They're simple reading, but very heartwarming. Please take the time to browse through his writings and think that his words might have been the same as those to your mother and family. The letters may not be in consecutive order. Some were without dates. My brother, Bug, that was his nickname. He was given that name by his grandfather when he used to play with the June bugs as a tiny toddler. Bug, I never knew him by his real name, Howard. The whole family called him Bug. All of his friends did. He enlisted in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, I believe, and from there he transferred to Fort Thomas and then was sent to Miami, Florida. Okay, these are quotes. September 1942, Miami, Florida. Dear Mom, well, I'm way down here in Florida. I left Fort Thomas Monday evening. This is the swellest place in the world. You can climb a tree anytime and get yourself a coconut. I'm in a cottage that was once used by rich people. It rented for $500 a month. It's next to the Flamingo Hotel, the biggest one here. We eat in there. I'm glad I was picked for the Air Corps. Quite an honor. I'm kind of lonesome for home already. Clark Gable was here. Robert Preston is here now. I wish you could see this place. Flowers in bloom, temperatures 100 degrees. I'll be here 1 or 2 months. I hate to ask for money, but I can't get by without some. I stretched that dollar as far as I could. $1. Well, Mom, don't worry about me. I'm well taken care of. This war may be over soon, and I can come home for good. Love, Bug. Next letter. Dear Mom, well, I'm dressed up in uniform now. I look okay. I guess I made an awfully good score on my intelligence test. You have to make 110 or over to be eligible for officers training. I made 117 and 114 on my mechanics test. I got in the Air Corps because I made such a good grade. I don't know when I will leave for my base, but soon, I hope. This is regarding family. Uh-oh. Doggone. Let me go back. Hold on there. Let's get back where I was. I'm almost there. Okay. I thought I was there. We'll get back to it. I hate when I do this. Dear Mom, well, I'm dressed up in uniform now. I look okay. Oh, I told you that, didn't I? Okay, I'm on the wrong paragraph. Hello, Mom. Thought I would write you again and tell you what I've been doing. We had 2 shots, yes, 1 in each arm at the same time. We're going through our processing period. Love, Bug. He's now in Amarillo, Texas. Hello, Mom and Dad. I'm all finished here now. I will leave here Monday for some advanced school at a factory in the United States, too. Well, Mom, I've done my best here and I got another promotion. You can call me Corporal now. Isn't that great? $12 more a month. I'm gunning for Sergeant now. Ha ha. I feel like a million after 8 days in the field. I want you to listen to this. I did my 24-mile hike with a 65-pound pack and Tommy gun in 6 hours. The Army sure will make a man out of you. I'll close now and write more when I get to my next base. Don't worry. Winter 1943. Seattle, Washington. Hello, Mom. I arrived here this morning, Thursday, at 6 a.m. Left Amarillo Monday at 2 p.m. Had an awful nice trip in a Pullman, and the food is wonderful. I believe I'll like here better than any place I've been. Okay. He describes his trip from state to state: Texas, Oklahoma, Dodge City, Pueblo, Colorado, Denver, Salt Lake City, and then to Wyoming. Idaho was about the prettiest state I've been in except Oregon. This, Seattle, is a very nice school, the best in the United States, they said. They have barrage balloons all around the city to protect it from an attack. Those big new flying fortresses are taking off from here all the time. I'm right in the Boeing factory grounds. We live in barracks. Maybe I'll take off in one of the B-17s in 34 days. The fellows say this is the best place in the world. They really teach you something. I want to show you a photograph or a picture. I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is a picture, I think, in Seattle, Washington. Well, let's see. Am I getting that right? Got it upside down? Well, it would help if I had it right side up. Now you can tell what it is. See all those airplanes lined up there? I believe he said those came off the assembly line, one at a time, every 30 minutes. This is what they were building, B-17 bombers. Take a good look. Okay. April 1943, Seattle, Washington. I've been to school 3 days now, and I like it fine. It's the best it possibly could be. The instructors are the best men Boeing has, and they really try to teach you something. Here's a couple of things Dad might like to know about the fortress. You know, I'll have one in my care when I'm through here. This isn't a military secret. He had that in quotes. They've added 2 more 50 caliber guns in the nose, 3 in all, and they have tested the plane to fly with 10 tons of bombs. 2 blockbusters strapped to the wings. It will fly above 40,000 feet, and as far as being attacked, it hasn't a blind spot. It has a total of 12 50 caliber guns. There's no question it's the finest ship in the world, and I feel honored to have the chance to be one of its crew, to fly with it, and to see that it's well taken care of. Hitler's babies just can't harm this plane. It will fly on any one of its engines. They feed us like kings and treat us like men here. Everyone likes it here, and you can bet when we leave with this plane, we will be able to take care of our job. They come off the line pretty fast, too. May 14th, 1943. I'm going to turn this a little. There we go. Well, for the last 5 days, I've made E's, 3 more than anyone in my class. Here's one thing I know you will be glad to hear. I won't get to fly in combat when I go over. The Army seems to think we are too valuable to risk. That's an honor in a way, but I don't like it though. For the lack of someone with my experience at 120 planes set on the ground during an all-out raid on Africa. It was a simple defect, but the planes couldn't fly with the voltage regulators burning out the generators. There's such a shortage of men over there that no one there could set them. I could have fixed them all in 2 days. The war may be over before I get over there, so you wait 3 or 4 months before you start to worry. Tell Dad I'll be glad to tell him all about an airplane. He'll be surprised. I get my silver wings in a few weeks. One other thing I remember he wrote. He said, if Dad could just see me now in the pilot's seat of a B-17 bomber, and to think he was afraid to let me drive a car. I always appreciated that little bit of humor. Okay, May 16th, 1943. We're having a big parade today, Thursday. The school is being presented the Army and Navy E, the letter E. The only factory school in the United States to get it. I'll be leaving here in about 2 weeks. I have 8 E's now. Still the most in my class. That was my brother. Note, the Army-Navy E presentation was filmed by MGM Studios. There were over 500 airmen at this ceremony, including my brother. Actually, there were 1,400. I read the note again, and there were 1,400 airmen at this ceremony. June 6, 1943, Missoula, Montana. Hello, Mom. Just heard about our victory in North Africa. Also heard about the raid on Sicily by fortresses. Boy, it shouldn't be many more months now before we win. I've made 4 E's in school. That's more than any one of the 45 in my class. Don't worry about me going across soon. I have a lot to do here. Don't worry if I fly either. It's as safe as a train. I know because I'll check my own plane. Hope I get to see you soon. June 8, 1943, Cheyenne, Wyoming. He was being transferred month by month. Hello, Mom. I finally got here after 6 days on the road and in the air. I left Missoula yesterday and flew to Great Falls, Montana. I know you've been worried, but just think how lucky I am. It's an honor to be an aerial engineer. We have a pretty safe plane, the safest and best plane in the world. That's the end of the quotes from his letters that I gave you. And I added this. My brother was a high school dropout at the age of 16. His intelligence exceeded all others in the squadron of 300 men. An aerial engineer, as aerial engineer. He received 8 E awards. Excellence in production. He was promoted from private up to staff sergeant in 9 months. On June 17, 1943, oh gosh, well, I lost it. It's going to be too hard to find it again. I gave you the main part, but I want to show you another photograph. I hope you can see it. You can't tell much about it. The day the MGM Studios was there to film this presentation of the efficiency banner for technical trainees. Now the men in white were all they were training the men to fly and to. My understanding was he said they had to be able to put a plane together and take it apart before they would be allowed to pilot a B-17 bomber. The men in white were the instructors. These are the 1,400 soldiers that were at this presentation with the MGM Studios. He said as he passed the stand where all of those men are sitting, he turned his head and looked directly at every man as they went by. Now, I'm going to move a little closer, and this is not easy to see, but I'm behind it, so I can't tell what I'm doing. In this picture, you'll see an arrow. Let me see if I can get my finger on it. See the arrow right up here, right there. There's a little black arrow. That's my brother standing there. 1,400 men. So I wanted you to see this. I wanted you to see the airplanes that they were flying. And I want to emphasize the importance of remembering. This was 82 years ago. 82 little red, white, and blue flags had been put on a tombstone in Corinth Cemetery. 82 little red, white, blue flags. 82 years. A lot of people don't really remember, but I was 7 years old, and I've never forgotten. We should never forget. These men, and I'm just talking about the ones from World War II, they are the men that helped keep our country free. They had such hopes and plans and desires. The 6 on the plane that crashed, theirs ended right there on June 17th, 1943. And you know, it was years later. Let's put it this way. It was 1998 when my sister was contacted. She was living at my mother's house then. My mother was in the nursing home. She was 100 years old, 101 years old. She got a phone call one night, and back then you'd get these calls from they're trying to sell you insurance, trying to sell you cemetery plots, whatever. And my sister answered the phone, and she was ready with her little spiel. She was going to play a joke on whoever called. By chance, it was a young man calling from New Jersey. He wanted to know if this was the residence of Howard. Oh, not of Howard, of my mother, Elizabeth Eastep. And she said yes. And he began telling who he was. He was a historian, military. And he said, this is in regard to Howard Eastep. And she said, well, Elizabeth is his mother. He said, she is his mother. You mean she's still living? And she said, yes, she's 101 years old. Well, he was just flabbergasted when she told him that. So he told her he was doing research on the plane crash that my brother was killed in. And he wanted to get family information from her when of course, we didn't have anything. We didn't have any information. We didn't get any information when my brother was killed in that plane crash. They couldn't even find his body. They couldn't even find any sign that he had been on that plane. But he was in the rear of the plane where all of the ammunition was. There were fuel tanks, and I think there was like 25,000 rounds of ammunition, bullets, and he was in the rear of the plane where the majority of all of that material was. So there was no sign of him having been on the plane. And when I read the reports, it really upset me when the report listed him as AWOL, because they couldn't find him. Couldn't find even his dog tags. So his report shows AWOL. Now that hurts. It still hurts. So anyway, how easily we can forget 82 years. A lot of people forget completely. They don't even know these soldiers are in the cemeteries because they're not old enough to have been around back then. But I am old enough. And I recognize how brilliant my brother was. I didn't know that growing up. He's just another member of the family, you know. Dropped out of school in the 9th grade. My goodness gracious. What are you going to do with a 9th grade education? Well, I just told you what this young man was doing with his. I couldn't believe my brother was that smart with all, and how fast he was promoted from private to sergeant in 9 months' time. So, again, I'm telling you the story. There's nothing I can add to it. It was what it was. But what I do want to add was when we found the researcher, and there were 8 of us that traveled to the Air Force Base in Rapid City, South Dakota. We wanted to get the history. We wanted the report. We wanted to know how our family member died. 4 of them on the plane. No, let's see. I get that wrong. 6 of them on the trip to Rapid City were sisters, brothers, and the wife of the descendant. So there was them, the researcher, and me. I was the only one from my family that went to Rapid City. This was in June or July of 1998 we wanted to know, how did our brother and father die? And we got the full report. They had a big air show that they have every year, and it draws up to 50,000 people for that air show. And the 8 of us were there as VIPs. They had special breakfast for us. We went out to the airfield. The man that was in charge of our group, whose father was killed, and he received major burns, and he died later in the same day that the plane crashed. He got to fly in a B-1 bomber over the airfield with his flag, his father's flag. We were treated with the highest respect, and we talked to the people there. Why is there nothing? There's not a wall built for the fallen soldiers on home ground. No monuments anywhere. They don't have their names on anywhere. And there were quite a few that died in training in those airplanes. And some of them were killed in the Badlands. Badlands was just right down the road. So, after we got through with our meeting, we got to meet everyone. We got a tour of the airport. Wasn't an airport, airfield. And I got to stand on the old runway where my brother's plane took off. I stood on the same ground. Okay, I think it was 2 or 3 years later, a museum was built at the Ellis Air Force Base. I think that's what it's called. They changed the name. It was Ellison in the beginning, and I think it was changed to Ellis. There is a path leading to this museum, and there are monuments about 6 or 8 feet apart all along the path. And each monument lists the names of the soldiers who lost their lives at that airfield from plane crashes. Now I've got the pictures somewhere. I don't know if I've got them here or not. No, I don't have. But this is another picture. See this plane? That's the kind of plane my brother was flying. You see the picture below? That's the tail of the plane as it was burning. That's all we have. That's all we have. So now that Memorial Day is over, and I want to call it a day of remembrance. Not Decoration Day, not a celebration day. It's a day of remembrance. To remember our military especially. So if you've got stories, you've got information, you've got material. My family had nothing but my brother's picture. Wait a minute, I didn't show you his picture. Did I? Let's see. There we go. I'm trying to get it to you without there. That's my brother's picture. He was 21 years old. And, well, you can see the plane above in the photograph. See, it's over to one side. You can see all that smoke coming from that plane. So that's my story for today. If you are interested in military history, it's one that you could pick up on and you can learn a lot. I'm just so proud that my brother loved what he was doing. That's what the reports were from the soldiers in 1943. They loved what they were doing. They were so proud of what they were doing. I don't know if it works that way now or not. I hope it is that way. But I'm proud of my brother. He was a musician. He could write his own songs. He played the guitar. He loved to play the little harmonica. And he loved to sing. He loved to sing. So he had his own entertainment with his music. Some of you watching, probably your family had a gold star in the window. Everybody knows what that banner with the gold star meant. Everybody knows what the banner with the blue star meant. The gold star meant the member in the family had lost his life. The blue star meant he's in the military. And our window, of course, had the gold star. So go back in your own families. Check the things that your family members have done that were in the Army, they were in the Air Corps, whatever they did. Jot it down. Don't let these things go without having something to show for their lives. I've got the one picture of my brother and his letters. That's the only thing we have are the shoebox of letters. So I managed to get through this without crying. It's awfully easy to cry. And I hope you'll take this story to heart. I didn't give it to you in a very good manner, but you get the gist of what I'm talking about. This is Memorial Day. This is a day of remembrance. And we always remember the good things. So I'll be keeping the shoebox of letters. When I'm gone, they get passed on down. They're to remain in our memorabilia of my brother. My children never knew him. My younger brother never knew him. He was only 4 years old, so he didn't remember him. But my brother that was killed remembered my little brother because he used to say to my mother, when I get back home, I want to take this little fella home with me and raise him. He cared that much about his little brother. Yes. Okay. It's quit raining now. I'm still in my house coat. Seems to be the most comfortable way to be around the house is keep your house coat on. That way you know you're not going to get out and go anywhere. I hope you've had a good Memorial weekend. Back to work for many of you. And thank you for the comments about my little interview with the folks in London, Kentucky. They were amazing. Their attitudes, I don't think I could have handled the situation the way they did. So keep them in mind, and you might consider donating to the cause. Send money. That's the best thing you can do. You send the money and they know what to do with it. So thank you for watching.